Hey guys, it's Adam with Unleashed Wargaming, and I got a battle report for you. I got my first game of Age of Sigmar. I played against, believe it or not, this is one of the pluses for Age of Sigmar. It doesn't really stack up against all the minuses of losing fantasy, but the pluses for Age of Sigmar are few and far between. But my wife is interested in playing again. She used to play fantasy with me a long time ago, and she was pretty good at it. And we had some great games. She actually beat me some. And when we had kids, she lost interest. It was too much, took too long, and there was just no way she'd ever have time to play. Now that they have changed these rules and really dumbed them down, she was looking at it, said, "This doesn't look like it'd take as long," and she's interested in playing again. Which is very cool. So, being a new game with all new rules and just all that, we're treating it just like that, treating it as a brand new game, not as Warhammer 9th or Warhammer that failed or anything like that. Just as if we picked up a brand new game, and we're gonna roll with that. She loves the Dark Elves. Excuse me. She loves the Dark Aelfs. One of the reasons that I went back to collecting them is to lure her back into the game. And didn't work the way I wanted it to, but I guess it's worked out. So she took her Dark Elves. Here's a look at our generals. She took her Dark Elves, her Dreadlord on a cold one, armed with, of course, what he comes with, a Hydra Blade and the special armor that does wounds. Yeah, and I took my Ogres, so I got my Tyrant out there, and he got the big name, the Long Strider, so his movement is 8 inches instead of 6, and yeah, that's about all he really gets, nothing special. He's got 2 weapons, so he gets to reroll misses in combat. So let's look at the armies. Here's a look at the an overview of the board. The woods up there on her side, there's a horde of witch elves behind it, 29 witch elves, I think, and that's kind of messing up the forest. You can't really tell it's a forest, but that forest is one of them that if you're within 3 inches, it gives you +1 to your bravery. The hill down on the bottom left of this picture, does the exact same thing, +1 to your bravery if you're within 3 inches. On the far right, the ruins up top, the rounded ruins, if a model goes through it or ends its movement on it, on a 1, they're dead. And it's sort of like dangerous terrain. And then there's some little ruins down in the bottom right that my, Iron Guts are about to go through. And that one is mystical, so if I roll a 1, the unit just stands there befuddled and doesn't do anything. 2 or better, as long as they're within 3 inches of it, they get to re-roll to misses and wounds in combat, something like that. Close-up of my side, starting on my right, I have, sorry about the lighting. The lighting wasn't very good here. We'll just pretend like it's either dawn or dusk, and the sun is hitting them weird and making shadows. It kind of looks cool, but it's a little washed out. On the far right, I've got looks like 7 Iron Guts. There's a Bellower, a Banner, and a Champion in there. Between the 2 units is my Tyrant. You can kind of see him sticking out there in an angle. He's got his 2 weapons up. Then I have 6 Bulls. And they don't have a banner, but they have a Bellower and a Champion, and I have a Butcher behind the Bulls. Next, I have 3 Leadbelchers, and boy, they've become weaker a lot. But again, go try not to compare it. Okay. And then over to the left of them, I have my Stonehorn with a Hunter on top, and then a Saber Tusk over to the left, hoping to single out characters. One of the things about Age of Sigmar is there aren't rules for characters joining units. So even if you put them in a big blob of troops, there's no rules saying you can't target them or single them out. and I don't like that. I think it's something they're going to change. I think they intended for people to put characters in units like 40k. As far as skirmish games go, not like fantasy, you know, where you can stick them in there and you can't attack them or whatever. Anyway, but I think they meant for you to be able to. But because we're trying to play it, you know, by the rules, without, well, we're not going to be cheesy and say, well, it doesn't say you can only rerolls once. So we've heard people do that. It says that you can reroll failed attempts to hit. Well, nowhere it says you can only reroll it once. So basically anything that says you can reroll failed attempts to hit or to wound, you automatically hit with everything and wound with everything. Because people who are going to play that way, your rules as written people, are going to re-roll over and over and over until they all hit. So, no, we're not going to do that. But the Saber Tusk, I took him to dart in there, run into people, catch his characters, and maybe try and tear one up. A look at her side of the board. On the far right, my far right, her left, is 5 Warlocks. Next to them, she has 20 Blackguard with full command. That's her general in the back on the cold one, carrying the Hydra Blade and his magic armor stuff. And then she has 20 Executioners. Next in line are the 29 Witch Elves, full command. Next to the woods, you can see her sticking out over there. She's got a sorceress, and then she has a Hydra with his handlers. And she has a ton more models than I do, but we talked about it, we were trying to balance it out. She kept saying, I'm going to put some stuff back. And I said, no, go ahead and take them, because, I mean, every one of my ogres have a minimum of 4 wounds each. So that's something else this game needs to work on, is wounds balancing, because my ogres are very much a match for this army, as you'll see. I mean, it's a good game, and because everything goes by model counts instead of wounds or that sort of comp, I could have taken an army that is competitive against hers and claimed bonuses like you have a third more troops than me. So we did not do that. I could have easily said, okay, well, all I got to do is kill one character, pick one. But I know that's not right, and so we opted. I mean, that's one of the rules in this game, is to make it fun, make it fair, and have a good time. So we opted not to play that way. So yeah, we're not doing that. I forgot to mention she also has a bolt thrower between the Witch Elves and the Executioners. She got the first turn. She moved her Witch Elves up through the woods. Her Hydra came forward. Executioner's Blackguard pulled up, and the Warlocks sort of held back. She was going to dart them up and try and do something, but now you cast spells before movement. So yeah, so she kind of held them back. She's going to kind of use them as a buffing unit instead of an assault unit. She opened up with her bolt thrower in her shooting phase and put 3 wounds on my ogres. We did this wrong. I counted the terrain there as cover because 2 of my models are covered, but later on we realized and looked back, the rule clearly says either fully behind or fully in the terrain you get cover, and I'm not fully behind it. So later on you'll see one of these models disappear, and that's because I gave her that other wound, because that was the right thing to do. Ogre's turn 1. I moved up my 6 inches through this terrain here. Got everything kind of staying together, my battle line. The only thing that moved up further is the lead belchers. Yeah, there they are. The lead belchers moved up onto that hill so they could try and shoot, but they only have a 12-inch range now instead of 24. But yeah. There's a look at my Stonehorn and my Saber Tusk. They both moved up getting ready to attempt charges. One of the rules for the Saber Tusk, I did this on accident, but as long as he's within, I think, 6 inches or 8 inches of a hunter, he gets +3 to his charge, and his leadership is 7. So, yeah, right now I need boxcars to get into that sorceress. I'm exactly 12 inches away, but thanks to that hunter, it now makes it where I need a 9 to get in. When we declare the charges, my Stonehorn makes it in, rolled pretty good, and he did 5 wounds to the Hydra, it looks like. He is, I can't believe the Stonehorn, he is disgusting. I mean, D6 mortal wounds on the charge. Then the hunter gets 2 attacks with his spear that each do 2 damage if they wound. Then the rider gets 3 attacks with his fists and his feet, all wounding on 4s. Then the Stonehorn, even after he's charged and his impact hits, he gets to do, I think it's 6 attacks with his horns, and each one of them, hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s, each one of those do 3 damage, and then D6 attacks with his hooves that wound on 4s. I mean, it's just like this thing could run into a unit of troops and wipe them all out. I mean, just obliterate them like they're nothing. But got in here, and this is just the impact hits. That's right, 5 wounds on the impact hits. Here's the next picture. You can see the Hydra was able to do 1 wound to me, and I did 9 wounds to the Hydra. So it's got 12. And if she can make it to her next hero phase, then she'll get 3 of those wounds back. So we'll have to see who wins the initiative next. There's an overlook of the board after round 1, both of our turns. Unfortunately for her, we roll off on the initiative, and I won, so I get to go again. That's a really strange mechanic for this game. I've heard a lot of people say it's broken, it's stupid, I'm going to leave it out. But I tell you what, it makes it where there's gambles. It does add a tactic to the game. There is some strategy there that if I want to, I can risk it and move way up close to you, hoping that I win the initiative and just go ahead and charge in the next turn. But on the flip side, if I move up real close to you and you win the initiative, then I just gave you an easy charge. So there's some strategy there. I didn't necessarily do this for strategy's sake. What I did was I moved up to where I was close enough that she could have a difficult charge, hoping she would fail, and then I would be able to countercharge. But turns out I got to go twice in a row due to this game mechanic. So yeah, you can see everything moved up again to get close enough to where I could move. I think I'm 9 inches away on both units. You can see that lead belcher has vanished. That last wound that got through apparently finally took him out. He was bleeding out, I guess. But yeah, I moved those last 2 up so they could shoot and then charge. My Saber Tusk moved up within 3 inches of the caster, so that'll be a, you can't fail that. I got a 1-inch attack range, so even if I roll boxcars, I'm on you, and that's that. I'll tell you right now, the game, we had to call it early, but it'll give you an idea of the game, how it's working for us, how it can be fun and fair, and all that sort of stuff. But we'll get through this turn anyway. I declared charges with both of my units here, my Iron Guts and my Bulls. They both made it in, thanks to some fantastic rolling. Over on this side, my lead belchers charged the Witch Elves. I mean, I shot and I think I killed 2. Nothing fantastic. They only get D3 shots when they move, so I think I rolled like a 2 and a 1 and did nothing. But my Saber Tusk, of course, charges the Wizard. So I'm going to make a comparison, even though I said I wouldn't. In 9th edition, that Wizard would be toast. So, I mean, 9th. In 8th edition, that Wizard would be toast. So, of course, character assassination with the Saber Tusk. I charged up in there. And we move on to the combat phase. I only have 2 attacks, and I miss with 1, hit once, and I wound. And great, the sorceress has 1 attack that, believe it or not, does D3 wounds now. So that's really crazy. Fortunately for me, she only rolled 1. She might have done. No, she only did 1 wound. That's right. So I took a wound. She took a wound, and Sabertusk only has 2, so she has 4. That's a big change that I didn't see coming. And since it's my turn, I got to choose the combat. And after she attacked with her sorceress, I jumped to my Iron Guts, and good lord, I hit and wounded 7 times. She failed every one of her 7 armor saves, or she failed 7 of her armor saves. Mind you, these ogres get 3 attacks each, so that's 18 attacks, because I can attack within 2 inches with these weapons, and the bases aren't 2 inches, so the ones in the back can reach. So after I pile in, I get 18 attacks, plus 1 more for the Gut Lord, the champion, so 19 attacks. 7 of them slip through, and when I look over at the damage, every time you wound with one of these things, it counts as 3 wounds, and it's to represent these big blades just slicing through 3 elves at a time, where they're just butchering them. So yeah, 7 wounds get through. That's 21 wounds, and the black guard just vanish. I mean, there's just a fine red mist blowing around that used to be halberds and armor. So we sat there staring at the rules, staring at the models. How could this be? That's amazing. But that's just how this game works now, I think. And so yeah, unit of black guards is completely annihilated. Then we go into her executioners. She rolls really well. They have a rule that if they roll 6s to hit, it does 2 mortal wounds, and you don't roll to wound. So if she rolls 6s to hit, I just start taking wounds. She rolled 3, 5 6s, I think, and that's 10 wounds. So she killed 2 ogres outright and did 2 more to another one. And ouch. And then when I got to fight back, I killed 7 of hers with the bulls, because once again, 3 attacks each, and every wound counts as 2 wounds. So yeah, 7 wounds done. That's an odd number. I don't know how I managed to do 7 when I'm doing 2 wounds each, but oh yeah, armor save. She must have saved 1 with armor. So yeah, ugly combat. The witch elves, I think I killed 1, and then she, of course, butchered them. I mean, they didn't have a chance. And then over here, of course, the Hydra did choose to fight with him before he died, and she put 3 more wounds on my Stonehorn, but then he just stomped her. I mean, that Stonehorn is incredible. The Hydra's not bad. I mean, it gets like if it wasn't wounded, I wounded it so badly that it was crippled. But I think it gets like 6 attacks, and then 4 attacks, and then 3 attacks from the handlers. And that Hydra it has a ranged attack. It can really dish out some damage. But not this game. I got in too quick. There's an overlook of the board after all that chaos. So now we're going into my wife's turn 2. She moved forward with her witch elves. We go back and do the hero phase, I forgot. But she moved up with her witch elves and charged into the Stonehorn because she definitely didn't want that thing charging into her. I took this picture. She took her lord and ran it over to kill the Sabertusk to make sure her wizard lived. But then this changes as well when we remember the hero phase. See, we went back and started doing 8th edition, but we'll go back. Yeah, okay, there you can see the lord is gone, and the sorceress, she chose to cast her spell. She backed up and cast a spell. Or no, she could do it into combat, that's right. And so she just, killed the Sabertusk. So there's a big difference in these games now. Her lord, now that he didn't have to go over there, he moved over and charged into the ogres here that are fighting her executioners. There's a look at the witch elves. They did 5 more wounds to me, put me down to 9 wounds, which really has me crippled. I think I'll come back to when I fight back, I think. I choose to do this combat over here. I use my 4 bulls, and I'm only able to kill 2 executioners this time. Yeah, and my Stonehorn, now that he's this weak, rather than, I mean, I think he probably would have killed like 12 or 13 of them, but after they attacked him and wounded him so bad, he only did 2 wounds. And there's a look at the board after the, you can see there in the middle of the executioners, her lord killed another ogre and put 3 wounds on another. So that unit of bulls is toast. So it was 4 in the morning at this point. We couldn't start until the 3 kids were in bed, and then we had to do things around the house that we normally do, and then we started. At this point, we would have rolled to see who got to go first in round 3. If I got to go first, this is a little theory hammer, but if I got to go first, then my Iron Guts would have charged into her executioners, and they would have been toast. If she got to go first, her executioners would easily finish off those bulls, but then they would still be standing there, and I would still get to charge them and finish them off. However, she has 25 witch elves left, and there's nothing my Stonehorn can do over there except maybe leave combat, but she could easily catch him because his movement's down to 5 now. So her witch elves would easily put the last 2 wounds on my Stonehorn and kill it. She still has her lord. I have my lord and her wizard, but she still has her Dark Riders back there, or warlocks. Ultimately, this game would have come down to my Iron Guts versus her witch elves. Her ridiculous, something like 60-something attacks from the witch elves versus my Iron Guts doing 3 wounds every time they hit. So, really, if this were 8th edition, you could sit there and figure this out. You could say, well, in my turn, I would turn this way, and then you would only have the option to do this, and then I have a charge, and all that kind of mess. But in Age of Sigmar, it very well may go down that she goes first, kills my Stonehorn, I charge in and kill her executioners, and then neither one of us can really charge each other for a turn. But then it comes down to the initiative. Now my stuff is sitting out in the open, and if she wins the initiative, she can charge me. And if it's her turn, then she can choose which combat to do first, which means that she can say, my witch elves are going to fight, and they may just chop those Iron Guts to pieces. But if it's my turn, or if she has to choose a different combat to go first, then I may get to go over and pick my Iron Guts and get to fight back and do 3 wounds per swing and obliterate her. So this is it's a totally different game, a totally different mechanic, but there are definitely totally different strategies as well. It's really dumbed down, it's really simple and all that stuff. I absolutely hate the fact that there's no sort of comp with points or wounds or anything like that, because that's the only part of this game that I see that's totally broken, is to be able to say, yeah, I showed up with 80 ogres and you brought your 15 elves that you own, but hey, if you kill my general, you're going to win. Well, my general's got like 8 wounds, and to be honest with you, if you can get past 80 ogres and get to my general in the first place, you deserve to win, but it's not going to happen. I hate that part of it. I think it's terrible. If you're going to play this game, if it's tournament play, then the tournament should really put out a comp. I mean, of course. And if you're going to play against an opponent at your local game store or whatever, then come up with some sort of comp. This game, we just kind of grabbed stuff that we thought would be equal, and it worked out really well. Like I said, we had to stop here. It was 4:30 in the morning, and we had to get a few hours of sleep before our kids woke us up at 7:30. So, Age of Sigmar, I enjoyed it. I won't lie. It might be because, and it's very rare, but I got to go to bed with my opponent right afterwards, so that helps. But, to be honest with you, I've never wanted to do that with any other opponent I've ever played with. But it was a great game. It was a lot of fun. My wife enjoyed it. She was incredibly tired, but she said it was fun, and she was getting the hang of the rules again, and was saying, it's easy enough that she could play it again and wouldn't feel like it was going to take 8 hours. But give this game a shot if you haven't done it, and be fair and play to have a good time and see what you think, because it has potential, and if they continue to release units with new rules and new things that apply to it, then it's going to be good. And they're gonna, if they support this game like they said they will, this game is going to do good, and it's going to have some cool stuff. And anyway, I have rambled on enough. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm possibly going to have another game today that we'll play to completion. This was really just so I could get a feel for the rules before I moved on to playing in game stores. And I hope you enjoyed it. If it didn't encourage you to try it, then I failed, because it's really fun if you play it for that purpose. So anyway, email me or comment in the comments below, especially if you saw us do something wrong, because there are like 4 entire pages of rules, so there's a good chance we missed something. But if you notice anything or have any questions or comments, then throw them in the comment section. Anything else that's more personal, you can email me at unleashedwargaming@gmail.com, and I'll always email back. So hope you enjoyed it, and look for more. Thank you.